the story of the boy who cried wolf. Let's travel to a village nestled at the foot of a rolling green mountain. In this peaceful village lived a young shepherd boy. Every morning, he would lead his flock of fluffy white sheep up the grassy slopes of the mountain to graze. His job was simple. Keep the sheep safe from harm, especially from the one creature everyone in the village feared, the wolf. The villagers had told him time and time again, if you see a wolf, you must shout, "Wolf, wolf," as loud as you can, and we will all come running to help you. But here's the thing about being a shepherd boy. It can be incredibly boring. Day after day, it was just him, the quiet sheep, the humming of bees, and the endless green hills. The same old routine, the same old view. The boy grew restless and yearned for some excitement, a little bit of action to break the monotony. One sunny afternoon, a mischievous idea popped into his head. A little prank to stir things up. He took a deep breath, cupped his hands around his mouth, and yelled at the top of his lungs, "Wolf! Wolf! A wolf is attacking the sheep!" His cries echoed down the mountain and into the village below. Instantly, the villagers dropped their tools, left their chores, and grabbed whatever they could: pitchforks, axes, and shovels. They scrambled up the hill, hearts pounding, ready to face the dangerous beast and save the boy and his flock. When they reached the top, panting and out of breath, what did they find? They found the shepherd boy leaning against a tree, laughing. There was no wolf, not a single trace. The sheep were grazing peacefully, completely unaware of the commotion. An old farmer, wiping sweat from his brow, asked, "Where is the wolf?" The boy just chuckled and said, "Oh, I was just kidding. I wanted to see if you'd really come. You should have seen your faces." The villagers were not amused. They grumbled and muttered to each other about the boy's foolish prank as they trudged back down the mountain, feeling annoyed and tricked. A few days went by, the quiet returned, and so did the boy's boredom. The thrill of his first prank had faded, and he decided to do it again. It was so funny last time, he thought. Let's see if they fall for it again. And so he took another deep breath and screamed even louder than before, "Wolf, wolf, please help. The wolf is here. It's carrying away a lamb." Once again, the alarm was raised. The villagers, though a bit more hesitant this time, remembered their promise. What if it's real this time? They wondered. We can't risk it. So they grabbed their tools and hurried up the hill. A little slower, a little more skeptical, but they still went, and once again they arrived to find the boy laughing hysterically. "You came again," he roared with laughter. "I fooled you all twice." This time the villagers were truly angry. The old farmer pointed a stern finger at the boy. "We came here to help you," he said, his voice firm. "We left our important work because we thought you were in danger. Lying is not a game, son. If you keep this up, no one will believe you when you're telling the truth." The boy just shrugged, not taking the warning seriously at all. The villagers stormed back down the hill, their trust in the boy completely shattered. Then came another day. It started just like any other. The sun was shining, the sheep were grazing, and the boy was watching over them, feeling a little lonely. But this day was different. As the afternoon shadows grew long, the boy heard a rustle in the bushes at the edge of the forest. He froze. Out from the trees crept a huge grey wolf with sharp yellow eyes and even sharper teeth. This was no prank. This was real. The wolf wasn't just looking, it was stalking the flock, its gaze fixed on the fattest sheep. Panic seized the boy. His heart hammered against his ribs. He remembered what he was supposed to do. He filled his lungs with air and screamed with all his might, "Wolf! Wolf! There's a real wolf! Help me, please! Help!" His voice was filled with genuine terror. He cried and shouted until he was hoarse. "Wolf! Wolf! It's not a joke this time. I swear, down in the village, the people heard his cries. But this time, they didn't move. They just shook their heads. "Oh, that's just the shepherd boy trying to trick us again." One said. "He won't fool me a third time," said another. "He's probably just bored and wants some attention," a woman added, continuing to knead her dough. They completely ignored his desperate pleas for help. Up on the mountain, the boy watched in horror as the wolf leaped into the flock. He was all alone. No one was coming to help. The wolf scattered the terrified sheep, causing chaos and fear, and then disappeared back into the forest with one of them. When the sun began to set, the boy finally managed to gather the few remaining frightened sheep and guide them back down the mountain. He was sobbing, his face stained with tears and dirt. When the villagers saw him, they knew immediately that something was truly wrong. "What is it? What happened?" the old farmer asked, his voice softened with concern. Through his tears, the boy choked out the words, "A wolf." A real wolf came. It attacked the flock. I cried for help. I yelled and yelled, but nobody came. The old farmer put a comforting hand on the boy's shoulder and looked at him with sad, knowing eyes. He said quietly, "We heard you, my boy, but we didn't come because you lied to us so many times before. How could we know that this time you were telling the truth?" And in that moment, the boy understood the heavy price of his lies. He had lost his flock, but more importantly, he had lost the trust of his entire village. And that's the heart of the story. The moral is simple but so important. A liar will not be believed, even when they speak the truth. Trust is like a fragile piece of glass. Once it's broken, it's incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible, to put back together perfectly. Honesty and integrity are the foundation of all our relationships. When we're known for being truthful, people will trust us and be there for us when we truly need them. Thank you so much for joining me for this classic tale today. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up. We love sharing these stories with you. Until next time, stay curious and stay true.